It happened in the silence between two breaths. One moment, I was there alive, aware, drowning inside my thoughts, and the next, I was watching myself from a distance that words could never measure. It was not death in the way people imagine it. It was not peaceful nor final. It was a tearing, a quiet unthreading of everything that I thought I was. When my soul left my body, I didn't realize it had gone. The world still looked the same ceiling above me, the same light flickering like a heartbeat about to fail. But there was something wrong with the air. It didn't move through me anymore. It moved around me. My heartbeat was missing, yet I felt the rhythm of something older than blood. I tried to speak, but the sound came out without weight, like wind brushing over glass. I looked down and saw my body, still, cold, unfamiliar. It felt like a stranger I used to know. My hands reached toward it, but they passed through as if my skin had turned to smoke. I didn't panic. The fear came later, slowly, like fog creeping over the edges of a dying world. The room around me began to shift, not in shape but in meaning. The walls no longer confined me. They became echoes of something that once mattered. The clock ticked, but every second stretched into an eternity. I felt time unravel itself like an old film reel, melting at the edges, showing frames of my life in reverse. I saw myself as a child, running through rain, chasing laughter that no longer existed. I saw the faces of people I had forgotten, each one looking at me as if they knew I was already gone. My mother's voice whispered somewhere far away, her prayers weaving through the silence like threads of light, trying to pull me back. But light could not reach where I was going. I tried to step forward, but there was no ground. Space had lost its meaning. The floor, the walls, the air, everything dissolved into a weightless abyss. I wasn't falling. I was simply drifting into something infinite. And in that infinity, I heard whispers. They weren't voices I recognized, yet they spoke like memories buried under centuries of dust. "You shouldn't be here," they said. "It isn't time." But time had no face, no mercy. I floated in a place between breath and oblivion, watching the faint shimmer of life fade from the world I had left behind. My soul had crossed a threshold that had no return. At first, I thought it was a dream. I waited for the feeling of waking, for the rush of air to fill my lungs again. But the longer I waited, the more I realized that dreams end. This didn't. Something in me started to fade, not my mind, not my memories, but the warmth that once connected me to everything I loved. I could still see my house, my room, my body. But they were fading into transparency, becoming shadows within a brighter shadow. I tried to call out, to scream, to tell the world I was still there. But every sound I made turned into light and disappeared. Then came the cold. It wasn't physical. It was the kind of cold that empties you from the inside, erasing your sense of existence. I realized then that the soul feels pain differently. It doesn't ache, it echoes. And in that echo, I heard my regrets, every word I had left unsaid, every apology I had buried beneath pride, every moment I had turned away when someone needed me. Regret is the heaviest thing a soul can carry. It weighs more than death, days past, or maybe centuries. There was no difference here. The world I knew existed somewhere behind a curtain I could no longer lift. I saw people come and go. I watched them cry beside my body, whisper my name, light candles, and call it goodbye. But I wanted to scream, "I'm not gone, I'm right here." They couldn't hear me. Their voices were muffled, distant, like I was trapped underwater. The realization hit me with a stillness sharper than pain. My soul had left my body, but it hadn't found where it was supposed to go. I was caught in the middle, a lost traveler between existence and nothingness. I tried to walk, but walking had no meaning. I tried to pray, but prayers echoed without sound, and then I saw them, the others, souls like me, wandering through the cracks of the world. Some were faded, like smoke that had forgotten it once was fire. Others glowed faintly, clinging to fragments of what they used to love. We didn't speak in words. Our thoughts brushed against each other like ripples in water. From them, I learned that this place had no name. Some called it the hush, some the in-between. It was where lost souls waited, not for judgment, not for heaven or hell, but for remembrance. If no one remembered you, you stayed. That truth pierced deeper than any wound I had ever known. I understood then why the others drifted closer to the living world, haunting places they once belonged to. Not to scare, but to be seen, to be remembered, to exist again, even for a moment. I wandered through streets that had changed. The city had grown older, brighter, faster. But I was still there, untouched by time. I watched my friends move on, my family age, my house sold to strangers who never felt the weight of the memories trapped within those walls. Each passing year dimmed my light a little more. I became the reflection that didn't move, the chill in the air, the whisper behind closed doors. People called it haunting, but it was just me trying to remind the world that I had once been alive. Sometimes I stood beside my grave and listened to the wind moving through the trees. The earth above me had forgotten my name. My tombstone weathered and cracked, the letters fading until I couldn't read them anymore. That was when I realized I didn't belong anywhere, not to the world of the living, nor to the silence beyond. My soul had left my body, but it had never found its way back, and it never would. And yet, I was still aware, still feeling, still remembering. There was a strange kind of beauty in that, to exist outside of everything, to see the world without touching it. I saw how people loved, how they lost, how they dreamed. I watched children grow into adults who forgot their childhood prayers. I watched stars die and be reborn in the eyes of those who still believed in miracles. In a way, I became the witness of time itself, a silent observer of everything that endures and fades. The pain softened, not because it ended, but because I learned to carry it like a part of myself. Then one night, centuries after my last breath, I felt something, a pull, faint, gentle, like the memory of warmth. Somewhere, a child whispered my name. She didn't know who I was, but she spoke it in a dream, and it reached me like sunlight breaking through glass. For the first time in forever, I felt seen. That one whisper brought me closer to the world than I had ever been. I followed it, tracing its echo through the fog of time until I found her, a little girl, asleep, her heart open to the mystery of dreams. She saw me, not with her eyes, but with the part of her soul that still remembered where it came from. I reached out, and she smiled. In that moment, I realized that maybe souls never truly leave. Maybe we scatter into the lives of others, into their breath, their thoughts, their dreams. Maybe that's what eternity means. When my soul left my body, it never came back, but it found something else instead. It became part of the wind that touches every lonely face, the whisper that reminds you of someone you've never met, the comfort you feel in the middle of the night when you think you're alone. That's me. I am still here, not as flesh, not as memory, but as the quiet reminder that love never dies, and the soul never truly leaves. It just changes form. It lingers in every heartbeat, in every echo, in every dream that refuses to fade. So if one night you feel a breath of air brush your cheek when no one is there, don't be afraid. That's not a ghost. That's just me, still wandering, still remembering, still alive in a world that forgot my name, because my soul left my body, and it never came back.